Are you looking for a more natural way to have larger breasts? Natural breast augmentation is a procedure that removes your own unwanted body fat and places it into your bust to give your body a more shapely contour. Check it out today on The Younger You.
I'm on top of the world, now I'm living, and the good just gets better, keeps it giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah. And it's a good, I won't even worry anymore. Took all my cares, took and kicked them all out the door. Go on and try, come and tell me what you're waiting for. Move and keep them going till your life is overflowing, yeah.
Welcome to The Younger You. Today we're talking about natural breast augmentation. This is a procedure that transfers your own unwanted body fat into your breasts, and I'm just telling you, who wouldn't want that to get rid of all that body weight? Let's talk to Dr. Barson, a cosmetic surgeon who regularly performs natural breast augmentations. How are you, Dr. Barson?
I'm great, thanks.
Good, great to see you again. For people out there watching you right now, explain to them what a natural breast augmentation is.
Well, natural breast augmentation has to do with augmenting the breast with the same thing that makes the breast, which is fat. The majority of a woman's breast is fat. Now, when they're nursing, the breast gets quite large and engorged with fluid, but that's not real, that's temporary. So the breast, when it goes back to its normal state, is primarily fat.
So this procedure uses something called smarter liposuction. Is that a procedure terminology, or is it something else?
It's a terminology we developed because we think it's smarter than other types of liposuction. I've traveled all over the world seeing some of the best surgeons in the world perform, and some of the tricks that they do, because I tell people it's not magic, but it's a lot of tricks. And there's a lot of tricks to making liposuction much smoother and more agreeable than is typical.
Okay, now let's just cut back a little bit. Let's break this down. We need to have liposuction first to be able to then disperse it and then put it into the breasts.
Yes, that's
Am I
true.
right?
We don't have any fat banks yet.
Not that we're aware of. But talk to me about where is the most common area to take the fat from?
The most common area we do is the belly.
Yep.
Because this is the thing that bothers women most, as a rule.
Yeah.
Now, it has an added benefit, however.
Such as?
The breast is always compared to what it's set next to. What's next to it? The belly.
Yeah.
If the belly is large, even if a woman has adequate breasts, they don't look it because they're sitting next to this belly. So when you take the belly off, the breasts naturally look better. And when you put that fat then in the breast, we call it a twofer. It's like 2 for 1.
Oh.
The belly goes in, the breast comes out.
So the breasts look bigger whether they really are or not?
Well, yes.
Just the size of dimension. Is there any benefits to having the natural breast augmentation procedure as opposed to an implant?
Yes, the advantages are, number one, it's natural.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be replaced. It doesn't shift around. Infections are very, very rare. You don't get capsule formation. It doesn't have to be replaced on some regular basis. The other thing is that we had one patient said they jiggle right.
So, okay, well, let's get back to, there's a lot of people out there that think when you have liposuction, it goes away. So because you're sucking out the fat cells, okay, from the stomach.
That's
when
true.
you put it into your breasts and you start eating and you just go back to a regular diet and say you eat too much fried food, will those fat cells expand? So do your breasts become bigger?
Yes.
They do.
Yes.
So it's still, you still must maintain a healthy lifestyle, really.
Well, yes, if that's what you want to maintain. If you do liposuction and you want to stay that size, you just don't change your weight. If the breasts are where you want them to be, if you diet, they'll actually get a little smaller. If you gain weight, they'll get a little bigger, just like women already know.
We've gone down the road of having liposuction, putting it into the breast,
Yes.
okay? Would you go back in and have a top-up procedure in several years? If, just say, you have gone on a diet and you have lost a heap of weight, where do you get the fat from then if you...
You could, and strangely enough, even very thin women have fat. Now, you only have to ask a thin woman. She'll tell you exactly where it is. I don't have to search for it. They already know.
They're telling you.
That's right. They know exactly what's going on with them. They keep very good inventory. And so because of that, most women, even very thin women, we can find adequate fat.
Okay, this is the perfect opportunity for our viewers to look at the advantages of having a natural breast augmentation rather than implants.
The most obvious advantage is that fat is a completely natural substance that comes from your own body. Because of this, naturally augmented breasts feel, look and move more naturally. The next advantage is that there are minimal incisions with this procedure, which reduces the possibility of scarring, and any scarring that does occur is often hard to see. Fat transfer to the breast can also soften the look of your breast implant, especially in thinner women. Implants can look a little harsh. The softening effect of fat can make the breast look much more natural. One of the benefits of this procedure is that you are awake. There is no need for general anesthesia, and that's a benefit.
Dr. Barson, we're going to actually watch you do these procedures in segment 2, but first of all, talk me through the steps that we will actually see in that next segment.
Well, the first thing you'll see is the administration of the tumescent anesthesia. This is very important. This kind of anesthesia is more like a local anesthesia.
Okay.
It's been developed, and it's safer, and it's has less bruising, pain, swelling, and downtime. So it has a lot of advantages.
Just so everyone at home realizes, that means you're awake. You're not actually put under sedation.
You're awake, but you're sleepy.
Right.
We give you medications to make you sleepy, but you are awake. And then after we do that, we continue on with the procedure.
So when people actually have this type of anesthetic, why is it better than having a general anesthetic? What are the benefits of this?
There's less downtime. You recover quicker. We usually have less bruising, less swelling.
And I would assume it's more cost effective.
It is.
Because you're not having the anaesthesis there.
Yes, and it's very safe.
Why is there such a big demand for natural breast augmentation now?
From what women tell me, the idea is they don't want something artificial inside of them. That's the most common thing I hear. The other thing is that it's something that gives them a natural feel and a natural look. It's a lot of times quite obvious if someone has an implant.
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you. So we have a natural breast augmentation as opposed to an implant. Now there's a couple of different shapes you can have with an implant, so the teardrop as an example. Are you saying that the natural breast augmentation just looks way more natural? They're not sitting up as high, they're not as round as an example, they don't look as hard?
Yes, and all of those things. It's a very natural look. It's just like the woman has before, but it's enhanced. Now we can change the shape a little bit.
That's where I was leading with this, Dr. Barson.
Okay, very good. A lot of times women, the top of the breast will be kind of concave.
Yes.
Because it's of time and motion and pregnancy, whatever. And so the top becomes kind of empty.
Yep.
And this is why women buy push-up bras, to make it look not empty.
Okay.
But we can preferentially put fat into that area to change its shape, actually.
Okay, you have liposuction. How long can you store the excess fat with you to then come back and have more injected?
Now there are techniques for cryogenically storing this.
Yes.
Those that we've tried, we've found that they don't have as good a success as we do with just taking the fat and putting it directly back into the body the same day.
Yep.
And so until a better technology comes along, we're actually doing it just the same day. You take it out of the body, you put it right back in the body, because the cryo, the freezing kind of technologies are not good enough yet.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great information so far. I'm looking forward to seeing what the surgery looks like in segment 2. Coming up after the break, we meet Emily and Karen and watch as Dr. Barson performs their natural breast augmentations. The following footage contains actual surgical procedures. It may be too graphic for some viewers.
I'm Emily Lewis and I'm 35. I decided to have this natural breast augmentation because I have had 3 children and I just wanted to feel better about my body and about myself, and that obviously isn't one area that you can exercise to make it look better.
We're numbing the area with something that's called tumescent anesthesia. It is the safest way of numbing a person for a procedure that exists, so it's very safe. Usually there's very little bleeding that occurs from using this kind of anesthesia. It'll take maybe 2 liters of fluid altogether before we're finished.
It reminds me of a roasted marshmallow. It feels crunchy and then soft. So it reminds me of a roasted marshmallow.
Well, now you see, I never would have thought that.
Monday I do have work, and so I'm taking it easy today, and tomorrow I'm watching Miss Universe tonight. That's my way of just kind of relaxing, and it's just a matter of next week just taking it a little slower, and it will be good.
So we're just making a little incision that will allow us to take the fat from both areas. This kind of a fat collection makes for a better fat transfer procedure, because this is the most successful technique for transferring fat from one body part to another. And so as this goes in and out of the tissue, it pulls the fat and carries it down through this tube, and then we're going to collect it for transferring.
Women nowadays, we have this stigma on us that, you know, we are supposed to have babies, but we are supposed to look good. And so we have to make the choice. For me, I had to do everything I possibly could by exercising and still not getting the results I wanted. And so I felt that for my own self-esteem, I could say, hey, you know what, I did everything I possibly could to get to where I was, but this just kind of was the end result of helping my body look young again.
McKenna's just taking the fat and loading it into syringes. This is pretty much done by feel and experience, okay? There is no cookbook way of doing this. It's just something that needs to be developed with experience and time. So since the size is equal pretty much on each side, we're going to be going from side to side until we reach pretty much equality. The other thing about this procedure, it doesn't cut any nerves, so skin sensation and, you know, feeling touch and whatnot is not altered at all.
I feel young on the inside, but the outside has aged, and so finally being able to get my body and my mind all connected and feeling like I do have that younger me back, it will be great. Done?
Pretty much. It's mostly just sewing it up. Because these are just needle holes, we could leave them without any stitches at all and they'd heal just fine. But I think it makes just a tinier scar, and we will actually take these stitches out tomorrow. Let's tidy things up. Most of the time we can get away with a very small amount of incisions. That's the plan. There you go.
I'm Karen and I'm 53. They're doing liposuction to remove fat from my abdomen and putting it up in my breasts. I've always been okay with fixing things. I've had 7 children, and so I did have a tummy tuck because that stretches you out pretty good over the years, and I never regretted doing that.
You got a lot of scar tissue under the skin. So it's from a tummy tuck, and she's had lipo and different things, huh? You see, this doesn't use very much force. I'm actually just holding this with my fingers. In fact, if I want, I can just hold it with 2 fingers and do this.
I do think that it's good to look pleasant. And sometimes that means just lifting things and helping yourself feel better about yourself.
This procedure that we're doing, our smarter liposuction, we use on a lot of patients that have already had liposuction because maybe the result didn't turn out as nice as they wanted. So we can actually redo either tummy tuck results or other liposuction results and maybe get a better result. You probably don't feel real comfortable until you've done about 1,000 of these. because then you've been able to see how tissue reacts and people react and people heal, and you know what kind of results, and using different techniques, how they impact the results. Now we're just doing a little tune-up, Carolyn, on your belly, okay? We've got about 2 liters of fat out of you, which is more than I thought we'd get, but hey, that's what we got. You see there's very little fat now, and this is how we see if it's even. We have a nice even distribution. If not, then we adjust it.
I've really enjoyed talking with and working with Dr. Barson. He has humor, and I think out of all the things that mean the most to me is just somebody that I can tease a little bit and he'll tease me back, you know. And you can just see the sparkle of humor in his eyes. I really appreciate that. He really, really listens.
Oh, your belly's gonna look so good. Right here we gotta do a little more. And I think we'll do a little more right there. As you can see, that's how much fat we've left.
Or lack of fat left. It looks so good, Karen.
I expect that I will feel a little younger, I think, more than anything. Just to trim down, you know, my stomach area and my waist, and be able to get some lift back in my breast.
We're putting numbing in the breast. If your breast is a cake sitting on a plate, we don't numb the cake, we numb the plate, the base of your breast, and that numbs everything, so that's cool.
To look in the mirror and go, oh, okay, I can be 53 and look like that, then I'm okay with that. So, but this is just to help, and it's for me.
The technique has been very successful as far as what we're doing here, or putting fat into buttocks, put it into faces and hands, and ankles, and hips, and just about any place you can think of.
That's worse than a mammogram.
Well, it's worse than any mammogram I've ever had. Yeah, we're going to start on the other side now. It's all about you, Karen.
It is.
It's all about you.
It looks good.
It looks fantastic.
Coming up next on The Younger You, Emily and Dr. Barson will join us in the studio to talk about the procedure and see the end results of Emily's natural breast augmentation.
Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for updates on the show, and join the Younger You conversation.
Be sure to check out the Younger You website to watch full episodes of the show, stay up to date on the Younger You challenge, and get useful tips and tricks to help you achieve the Younger You.
Welcome back. Before the break, we watched as Dr. Barson performed 2 natural breast augmentation procedures. Now, we've been joined by Emily. How are you, Emily?
Good.
Now, we've just seen your procedure being done as well. Dr. Barson, how are you again?
Great, thanks.
But first of all, I want you to look at Carolyn's before and after shots. So, Dr. Barson, when you see the results that you've done on Carolyn, what do you think of the results?
I think they're what she wanted, the filling and recontouring with the extent of the amount of fat we had.
Emily, tell everyone at home, how old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, why did you choose this procedure?
I didn't want a foreign object in my body. I didn't feel comfortable with that. And so I did my research and I found Dr. Barson and went and met with him.
Emily, what size were you before the operation?
Probably a 34B.
So let's look at your before and after shots right now. Dr. Barson, when you see this, what do you see?
Once again, we're having a better shape and more fullness and a natural breast shape and what she wanted.
This is something I wanted to ask you, Emily. Carolyn was 53, and she doesn't care what anyone says, what anyone does, it was for her. Why did you have it done?
My main reason is I had a life-changing experience. I went through a divorce, got remarried, and I just didn't feel myself for my husband, basically, and so I wanted to be able to feel good about myself and better about myself because exercise wasn't doing it.
When you looked in the mirror, what were your thoughts?
I didn't have that confidence that I used to have.
Dr. Barson, when you have young ladies like Emily come in, do you talk about their lifestyle? Do you talk about why they want to do these things?
In my experience, women actually know what they want. Maybe they'll still do a traditional implant, maybe they'll do the natural breast augmentation, but it's all their choice. And so that's what we try to do, is get them to the point where they can make a good decision.
Did you know what you wanted?
Yes, I did.
You knew exactly where you were at.
I did, but it took 3 times for me to actually finalize what I was going to do.
Why?
I was nervous. I had never had any type of surgery other than delivering babies.
Did you like the idea of having liposuction first and then having it transferred?
I liked how he described it, because in my mind I'm thinking of the 80s when they had those huge
Machines,
tools or whatever, and
where have you
being
been
put
living?
under.
Haven't you seen how everything's done now?
Well, I guess I've been under a rock or something, but that was just in my mind, and it took 3 times before I finally said, okay, let's do this.
We'll catch up with Emily and Dr. Barson in just a moment. But first, let's check in with Linda's on how to measure yourself and find the perfect fitting bra.
Hi, I'm Kim from Linda's. This video has some ways for you to measure yourself and find your starting point for the perfect bra at home. To measure yourself at home, you will need your best fitting bra, a soft measuring tape, which you can pick up at the local drugstore, and Linda's online bra calculator. Step 1. Measure your underbust. With your bra on, measure around your rib cage directly underneath your breast tissue. Be sure to keep the measuring tape straight and taut. This is your underbust measurement. Tip: even if your current bra doesn't fit very well, it'll still help you get directly underneath your breast tissue so you can get the best measurement possible. Step 2. Measure your cup size. With your bra on again, measure around the fullest part of your bust, firmly with the measuring tape. Again, keep it straight and taut. This is your cup size measurement. Tip: again, even if your current bra doesn't fit correctly, it's still better than no bra at all. It'll give a more accurate measurement. Step 3. Calculate your bra size. Log on to lindasonline.com and click on the bra calculator page. Input your underbust and your cup size measurement and click Calculate My Size. Ta-da! Don't be alarmed if this size is totally different than what you've been wearing. A lot of women have been wearing the wrong bra size. The bra calculator will just give you a starting point for a new size. But bras are like jeans. Every brand and style fits a little bit differently, and we're here to help you find the best one. Tip: depending on your cup size measurement, the bra calculator will add between 0 and 3 inches to your underbust measurement. That's totally normal. And every woman needs a snug back band, but basically the bigger your cup size, the more snug your band needs to be to do its job. Wearing the right bra size does wonders for your figure, helps you feel more confident and comfortable, and it's best for your breast health. These steps will help you find the best bra just for you.
Did you feel you had a heavier breast once the fat was put into your breast?
At first I did, just because of the swelling. It just kind of felt like as a woman when she has a baby and she's engorged from milk, that's just how it felt.
So you've had the surgery,
Right.
You've gone home that afternoon because it's under local anaesthetic.
Right.
Talk us through the next few days.
Well, that evening I laid in bed with my husband and we watched a movie, and that was a Saturday. I was back to work on Monday.
That quick?
Yes.
No downtime. What about lifting things, gym workouts?
It was about a 6-week wait on exercising, and just, you know, take it easy.
Dr. Barson, when Emily was saying is 6 weeks worth of downtime, okay, what are some of the things that they shouldn't really be doing at all?
We don't want any aerobics, jogging and running. And the other thing we don't want is any compression. You know, you don't sleep on your belly at night, and you don't wear a sports bra, because that compromises circulation when the breast is trying to heal.
So you wouldn't be using any type of bandages after the procedure or anything like that?
No.
You just wore your normal bra
Yeah.
as such. That's quite interesting, because did you have bandages on where your liposuction was done?
Just some gauze, and then
Yeah.
24 hours later I went back and he took them off, and
Wow.
I was good to go.
The only invasive part that I and the viewers would really look at and see right now is the liposuction part, actually removing the fat.
Putting fat in the breast usually has very little pain associated with it. Taking the fat out of a body area is more traumatic, and so it does give you more discomfort.
what did you think the complications could be?
I had no idea what they would be until he educated me, and then he gave me the reassurance that everything was going to be okay. But as far as the pain goes, I felt like I did 1 billion squats, and that's what it felt like.
Okay, so your tummy felt tight. Okay, complications.
The most worrisome that we'd look at is an infection. They're quite rare. We actually mix antibiotics with the fat when we put it back in to a degree, and that pretty much fixes that problem. Each breast procedure has its more common complications. The more common thing that we would see would be lipid cysts, which are little balls of fat under the skin that you can feel. It feels like a marble.
Okay.
But they're actually very simple to take care of, and they have no long-term consequence.
Emily, you said that you weren't feeling. Was it confident, sexy, or all of the above?
I wasn't feeling it. I have 3 children, and it just wasn't feeling like I used to.
What do you see when you stand in front of the mirror now? Feel more confident?
I do.
Sum it up for the women at home that are watching you right now. At 35, had some kids, wanting to get their body back. What would you tell them right now?
That it's important to take care of yourself, because if you're not happy, no one is happy in your family. And so you have to take that step and make yourself happy.
Good for you. Thank you so much for allowing us to explore this journey with you as well. Dr. Barson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you both coming in again. Being a younger you is not just about physical changes. It consists of your physical, emotional and inspirational well-being. Natural breast augmentations can help you not only physically but emotionally as well, by providing your confidence and self-esteem. For more information on the show, please visit our website at theyoungeryou.tv, and I'll see you next week.
Next week, Dr. Joshua Redd will join us again, this time to examine the human brain and to help us learn about a few simple things that you can do to keep your brain healthy and sharp. The Younger You set provided by Madison McCord Interiors.